What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Ticker Fee video and welcome to the Ticker Fee family. So as you can see, the ticker symbol we're going to be talking about today is OCGN or Ocugen, and what we're going to be talking about specifically is the positive data for 2020 vaccine candidate, how Ocugen announces the closing of the $100 million registered direct offering of the common stock. What is the registered direct offering? So I'll explain that. And then we're going to finish this video off with a chart analysis and price prediction. So thank you so much for listening, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so currently Ocugen is trying to fast track their vaccine into the United States. So their co-development or partner, Bharat Biotech, has released positive data on the late stage study of the Covaxin. Again, this is the vaccine for what's been going on in 2020. So Bharat Biotech shared the positive results as the second interim analysis of its phase 3 study of the Covaxin, which demonstrated an efficacy of 78% in mild, moderate, and severe of this disease, and 100% as well. Now the trial enrolled, and this is what you need to know, 25,800 participants in India from the age group of 18 to 91, including 2,433 above the age of 60, and 4,500 with comorbidities. So let's actually see what that is and what that means. Okay, so it means simultaneous presence of 2 or more diseases or medical conditions in a patient. A disease or medical condition that is simultaneously present with another or others in a patient. So why am I pointing this out? So they're going above and beyond and being transparent with their vaccine. They're not just getting anybody, they're getting people that sometimes either has one condition or multiple conditions, and proving that their vaccine is working. Alright, so the primary endpoint of the phase 3 study is based on the first occurrence of the PCR confirmed symptomatic, mild, moderate, or severe. Now, with the onset of at least 14 days after the second study vaccination in the negative adult participants at a baseline. So the second interim analysis is based on accruing more than 87 symptomatic cases of this disease. However, due to the recent surge in cases in India, which you've seen all over YouTube, 127 symptomatic cases were recorded, as well as the news. I mean, it's everywhere, so this is a pretty big deal. This, in turn, moderate and severe of this disease is based on a subgroup of approximately 8,000 participants who visit the clinical trial site each month for the RT-PCR test. The efficacy against asymptomatic of this infection was 70%. Now, also what I want to note is that Ocugen will share the profits from the sale of Covaxin in the US market with Bharat Biotech, with Ocugen retaining 45% of the profit. So again, why am I pointing this out? Why am I telling you this? Because if it does get moved to here and the United States starts picking up on this Covaxin, Ocugen will retain 45% of the profit. That's major news. So again, great catalyst and something that I want to show you that we'll be able to demonstrate in Q3 or Q4. Okay, so when we're looking at the actual chart, and this was presented, this information was presented on 4/22, so that's the catalyst. So as you can see, it closed higher than what it opened up at, and so you have a green body. Now the volume was 231 million. Now we fast forward to the next day, you're like, well, the next day it was in the red. Well, it went from 231 million to 504 million, so double the amount of volume just off that catalyst. And again, on that day we closed in the green. But just showing this candlestick itself, even though it closed on the red, it's higher than what it closed the day before, and you actually have a wick that is much higher, that it went all the way up to $13.45. Now it dropped back and we had a little more resistance, which is always going to come with the catalyst, especially on the next day. So we're not surprised, but as you can see, we have a continued upward trend. So that catalyst itself was major news. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how Ocugen announces the closing of the $100 million of registered direct offering of common stock. But before we read that, we need to understand what the registered direct offering is. What are the advantages? So in its simplest form, a registered direct offering is an offering of securities that has been registered to the SEC to pre-identified investors. As such, the shares purchased by the investors are not restricted but readily tradable. So most registered direct offerings involve the use of a placement agent who places the securities directly with the investors. An experienced placement agent usually has an existing relationship with a broad range of institutional and other investors who have an interest in a particular industry, segment, or investment criteria offered by the issuer. So here are the advantages of a registered direct offering. There are many advantages. So unlike the pipes, the shares from a registered direct offering are not restricted securities and may be resold by the investors without registration. It also allows the issuer and the placement agent to gauge the investor's interest. Then you've got the speed to financing, since most public companies should take advantage of the Form S-3 or F-3 shelf registration process, and many enhance market following, usually a smaller discount to market price when compared to the pipes. If necessary, it allows the issuer to increase its round lot shareholders for uplisting onto a more senior exchange. So now that we understand what the registered direct offering is, let's actually look at the overall summary of this $100 million direct offering. Okay, so Ocugen, a biopharmaceutical company focused on discovering, development, and commercializing gene therapies to cure blindness, diseases, and developing a vaccine to save lives from the disease, announced that they have closed the previously announced registered direct offering with a healthcare-focused institutional investors for the sale of an aggregate of 10 million shares of its common stock at a purchase price of $10 per share. So if this is your first time tuning in and listening to this video and trying to understand what ticker symbol OCGN is, that's what they focus on. And again, I've said this before in other videos. I do appreciate it. I've worn contacts and glasses my entire life. So H.C. Wainwright & Co. acted as the exclusive placement agent for the offering. Now Roth Capital Partners acted as a financial advisor to Ocugen. Now what are some of the other things that I've highlighted? Ocugen intends to use the net proceeds from the offering for the general corporate purposes, capital expenditures, working capital, and general and administrative expenses. The last thing is the shares of the common stock described above were offered pursuant to an automatic shelf registration statement, and this is going to be your file number 3325450 filed with the SEC. So again, I wanted to point this out. This is really good information to know. So that's what that means when it comes to the direct offering. So hopefully that'll be added value for you, again, on the decisions that you make as someone that owns these stocks. The more information you have, the better decisions you can make. So I need to, again, point this out. So let's actually look at the chart and finish this video off with the price prediction. So the direct offering for the Ocugen announcement for the $100 million registered direct offering was on April the 23rd. So that's why you're going to see, even though we closed lower than what we opened up at, you have the wick that shined and brought us at a much higher rate, which is going to be at $13.41. Again, we closed on that day much smaller at $9.63. But that's not that big of a deal, because from the 23rd to 28th, we're actually still higher every single day than what we opened up at. And why was that? Well, the other catalyst was not only that there was an announcement, but there was also the closing of the $100 million registered deal. So upon this catalyst, as you can see on the charts, again, it is affecting it in a positive way. Now, what I also want to inform you on is what's been going on in the market during March and of April. And so a few things I just want to say here real quick. That way you can keep in mind for future reference when you're studying these charts. First, it's going to be new retail investors. Now, yes, everyone knows that you have to pay taxes on capital gains. But if it is your first time and you don't understand how much profit you've got and you have a rough idea of what you owe when it comes to taxes, it's going to be a surprise. And so you're going to see a lot of retail investors who have been selling off their stocks in order to pay for the taxes. Then you've got the financial reports. So last week and this week, you've had large cap blue chip companies that have been letting us know what their overall financial results are. So it's all about that net value, which I've mentioned it before in other videos. And then the other thing, and this is more common for many people that understand the charts, is going to be the hedge funds. So they have a lot of pressure on a constant basis to meet or surpass expectations quarter to quarter. So when you see the charts being manipulated, it's going to be tied to what's going on with the infrastructure plan, with the corporate taxing, and so on and so forth. So always keep those things in mind as other side events that do manipulate the market, which then can affect your stock. So I just want to point that out. But for us, currently, we are looking really well. I'm going to be able to enjoy this weekend just by looking at the stocks. So I'm very happy about that. Hopefully this is extra added value to just give you the news and continue to update you. So I really do appreciate you listening to this video. And as always, everyone, welcome to the Ticker family.